I want to show you how to make a working belt buckle from just a couple of nails and some scrap steel. No forge required. Stay tuned. Greetings adventurers and welcome to Skill Tree, where we learn how to do just about everything. I recently ran into an issue where I needed a very specifically sized belt buckle and I couldn't find it to save my life. I ended up just going without, but it kind of irked me that I couldn't just put one together. So that's what today's episode is for. We are gonna learn how to make a belt buckle easily. No real forge or anything required. So without much further ado, let's just jump right into it and level up this skill. Now, before we can make a thing, we have to understand a thing. I mean, buckles are pretty straightforward, but still there's three component pieces we've got to think about. That being the frame of the buckle, then the bar, and then the prong, which is the thing that actually goes through the hole and holds everything in place. It's a buckle. You know how buckle works. I don't know why I'm explaining it to you. To start making this thing, I'm gonna use this random bar 1/8 inch steel that I have in the shop here. So if you have big common nails, that'd be pretty big because I think you're gonna need around 6 inches of steel to make the frame. Anyways, doesn't matter too much. Something steel, roughly yay long. Now, with this steel, I could just go ahead and put it in a vise and bend it, but the problem is it's gonna be harder to control exactly where that bend is gonna happen and how cleanly it bends unless we heat it. Before that, I'm just using a simple torch here. You don't need a fancy forge or anything. It's not what we're doing here. We're just gonna heat up the spot that we wanna make our first bend. I'm being a little devil-may-care with this because I have so much bar that it doesn't really matter where I make my first bend, so long as it isn't too close to the end so I can just cut off any excess. Once I have it glowing a little bit, it's really easy for me to just grab it with the pliers and give it a good bend. You're gonna see it's gonna bend exactly where that heat was, and it does so really cleanly. All right, so that's 1/2 of the frame there, right? Super easy. To get the second half of the frame, obviously you could either measure the width that you want your belt or your strap or whatever to be in, and that's how wide at least you want the inside of those turns to be. But for my purposes, it's just a standard belt, and I have a standard belt buckle here. So I'm just using that as measurement. Heating up right where that other turn should take place until again it glows red, and then grabbing it with my pliers and giving it a good bend. And though I kept it kinda rough on how I did it, I'm really proud of how these bends turned out. Look at that. It's almost perfect. And I gotta stretch before I pat myself in the back this much, but a really very easy project so far. Which I think makes it more frustrating that I couldn't have a buckle for I wish I just did it. I should have just done it then. All right, so happy with that. I just used my Dremel to cut the leg kind of even with the other leg, knowing I'm gonna end up cutting a lot of that off. Now, though it is kind of wasteful to leave it longer, obviously if you're on tight margins with a smaller piece of steel or something, you wanna be more exact. But for me, because I'm gonna be shaping a lot of this with my grinder, I like to have a little spot to hold on to that I'm not affecting. So I like having the extra length, actually. Over at the grinder, all I'm doing is squaring this material off. Honestly, if you could start with some square stock, you're probably gonna have a better time unless you're really looking for this rounded kind of look. But yeah, all I did was hit all of the outside areas to make it a nice kind of square-ish look. Happy with that, I went back in to do just a little bit more shaping, kind of making the nose more rounded and tapered. I made the sides taper in a little bit, kind of give the whole thing a little bit of an arch shape to it so that when the leather goes up in it, it kind of lands more flat looking, I think. As opposed to if I left it flat, it could kind of rock up a little bit, right? So now it has just a little bit of an arch to it. So I use the grinder to get rid of material very quickly. You could totally just use some files or a sandpaper or a sander to do this. The nice thing about us heating the metal up beforehand, it's doing what we call annealing the steel, which just it makes it softer, right? When you heat it up to that cherry red or that glowing color, the steel is gonna get softer, and it's gonna stay soft until you either work harden it, as in you're banging on it or whatever, which we're not doing, or you heat it up again and you quench it. And I still go through and hit it with the file because that's gonna make everything really smooth. It's hard to get really smooth lines with my grinder, or with a file I can be super precise and just make sure everything's nice and clean. And look at that. Look at how friggin' pretty that is. Oh, it's so good. I was really proud of how that, already I'm hey, it's looking like a buckle. I was 100% by the seat of my pants on this one, but it's coming out good. It's great. Ooh, did you guys pick that up? I'm grumbling. I'm so hungry here. 1 second, hold on. Oh yeah, today's episode is brought to you by Factor. Oh my God, so good. So if you've never had Factor before, they are chef-created, ready-to-eat meals that show up at your door. I can't tell you how often I've been here working trying to get one of the videos done and I just straight up forget to eat. And then by the time it's in my mind, I'm rushing between things. So the fact that I can go from still filming to ready to eat without losing an additional hour is absolutely magic to me. And as you can see, it is not like sad microwave food. Every meal is dietitian approved, made with real ingredients that you'd recognize. We're talking lean proteins, whole grains, actual vegetables in my body, which is amazing. And you know, they're always fresh, never frozen, which is just great. I really do love Factor. It's got me eating like a human being again, so highly recommended. So good. So if you're interested, just head to factor75.com or click on the link below and use SkillTreeFB50 to get 50% off of your first Factor box. Plus free breakfast for a year. Again, that's code SkillTreeFB50 at Factor.com. FYI is for new subscribers only and varies by plan. But one free breakfast per box for a year while like your subscription's active? That's pretty sweet, I like that. Okay, we're talking about making buckles. I gotta loosen this one. Where were we? Right, we got the frame all figured out. Now we need the bar, right? The part that actually like the little prong is gonna sit on and that your belt wraps around to hold the whole thing in place. I figure to make this, we can just use a nail, right? Perfect, it's the right size and shape. And I'm, lazy, so this is great. First thing I do is I punch little divots in right where I want the thing to go, just so my drill bit doesn't dance around. Then I put it in my vise and use a bit of oil to lubricate the whole thing, before drilling the holes all the way through. I just made sure the bit was large enough so that the nail would fit, but it would be a snug fit. So the thought here is to use the nail kind of like a rivet. We want to peen over the ends of it so that they won't come back out through that hole. To get that going, I kind of tap the nail into where it'll go, and then use my Dremel just to flatten out the tipped end of it. Then it was really easy to just kind of turn it on its side and use my ball peen hammer to start peening that flat side. We just wanted to kind of mushroom over cleanly enough so it makes it impossible for it to come back out of that hole. Happy with that, I cut off the excess on the other side so there's only like a 30-second worth of material sticking out of it, and then did the same thing, kind of peening all of that over too. You don't want to leave too little because you need enough material to really mushroom it out so it can't like fit back through and make it look good. But if you put too much, it becomes really hard and it like makes it really loose and wobbly and looks goofy. So you got to feel it out after a little bit to know exactly how much you are able to peen. I'm saying peen a lot. It's very awkward, I think. But check that out. I think that came out pretty clean. That's a clean peen. Nope, I hated that one. That was a bad one. Ugh. Anyways, it looks good. From here, though, I know exactly how big that buckle frame needs to be, so I just cut away all the excess that's after our peens. I swear to God, if YouTube hears how many times I say that and decides to demonetize me because it thinks I'm talking about something else, I'm gonna be real upset. Don't do it, YouTube. Algorithm, listen. Anyway, with that in place, I just went over the entire thing one more time with some sandpaper to really shine it up. Look at how sexy that looks. With that, the last thing we have to put in place is our prong, the thing that actually makes it a workable buckle. And for that, I'm, again, just gonna use a common nail. It's perfect size for this thing. This is dead simple. I didn't even heat this one up. I just kind of cut the top off of it, beat the living hell out of it with mine hammer until it was nice and flat, specifically a little bit smaller and flatter on one end, because this is the end that I'm gonna heat up till it's nice and red, and then use some pliers to start bending it around into a loop. I then position that loop so it's kind of grabbing onto that center bar and use my hammer to close it into place. You don't want to pinch it down, you need this thing to be able to move so it'll work. But yeah, pretty simple. And after cutting that prong to size and rounding it off, that's a buckle. That is great. As one last detail, I just used a little file to give it a notch so that it didn't move around so much once the belt's in there. And shazam, look at that. It works, it opens, it closes, it looks good. And now I never have to worry about not having a buckle again. I can just make one. The whole project, especially now that I know how to do it, maybe an hour worth of work, that's awesome. That's so good. And of course you can get creative, right? If you want it to look like hammered, steel or something like that, you could either actually hammer it or you can just take a Dremel and make it look that way. You can antique it a little bit. And I've already used this. I'm wearing it now. It was the last build. That's the buckle I used in the last build. I love it, it works. It's a buckle. No complaints, just does what it needed to do. Now, of course, disclaimer as a heads up, make sure you know what type of metal you're using in case it's gonna be against you or whatever. And then also, you wanna avoid anything that's gonna rust, obviously, right? You don't wanna have it rusting onto your pants or it's gonna be up against your stomach here a little bit. So stainless or something like that, or treat it so that it's protected. But yeah, if you have like electric power tools, this is a super fast project. If you have hand tools, maybe it's like an extra hour worth of your time, super worth it. It's super fun to do. So what did you think of this project? Did you like it? Could you think of some other things that are like common materials that you might use to make stuff, but if you could just make it yourself, it'd be great? Let me know down in the comment section what those type of things are. Maybe we can try to tackle them later on. Oh, real quick announcement too, we just turned on the YouTube membership stuff. So if you're interested in joining our YouTube membership or like checking out the little perks and stuff down there, why don't you give that a look? That's cool. I didn't know I could do that for the longest time, so there you go. And do let me know in the comment section if there's anything that you kind of think should be in those little perks. I'd be interested to see what you guys are interested in. Also, if you're into this type of stuff, make sure you check out our Discord, link in the description below. This community is incredible. Like, look at all the cool stuff they make. They're incredibly skilled, incredibly nice people there, all helping each other with projects, showing off what they can do, having just general conversations, and honestly, mostly making fun of me. They make fun of me a lot. I'm not so sure it's my community as it is a community about bragging on me. I deserve it. I'm kind of a jerk. Anyways, if you want to come and join the conversation, definitely check us out. Again, link in the description below. All right, I gotta go do the dishes before Maddie comes in. In the meantime, though, keep leveling up, you. You made it to the end screen. YouTube loves it when you do that, and it's a fantastic way to support this channel. Another fantastic way to support this channel is by joining these people's noble ranks. These are our Patreon members, and we can't do any of this without them. And massive shout out to our Grandmaster tier Patreon, Familiar T and Froggy. It's incredible that this community supports us the way we do. And lately we've been really trying to thank them by making sure they get some freebies, some behind the scenes stuff, and generally letting them know we love them, because we do. It's incredible that they help us out the way they do. If you'd like to support us in that way, you consider joining our Patreon, link in the description below. Oh, or check out the YouTube memberships. Maybe you like something there. That's awesome too. If not though, no worries. Just check out one of these videos that YouTube thinks you'd like, and that helps out a lot too. All right, I'm kind of obsessed now. I'm gonna make a big buckle for a thing I'm working on. Maybe you'll see it.